Hey everybody, I'm Michael again, and we are going to pick it up at a list of defeated kings. This is Joshua 12. In the previous video, we just went through all of the kings that Israel, in kind of a narrative form, we caught all the kings that Israel had defeated, those in the north, those in the south, and um, now we're going to be doing a list of defeated kings. It's a pretty large list here. Chapter 12, Joshua. These are the kings of the land the Israelites had defeated, and whose territory they took over east of Jordan, from Arnon Gorge to Mount Hermon, including all the eastern side of Arabah. Sihon, king of Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon. He ruled from the Aurora, from Aurora on the rim of the Arnon Gorge, from the middle of the gorge to the Jabbok River, which is the border. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. The border of the Ammonites. This is included half of Gilead. He also ruled over the eastern Arabah, from the Sea of Galilee to the Sea of Arabah. That is the Dead Sea. Another word for Arabah, I guess. To Beth Shemoth, and those southward below the slopes of Pisgah. All right, and the territory of Og, king of Bashan, one of the last of the Rephites, who reigned in Asheroth and Edrei. Ashtaroth. That's interesting. So that's a place. That's an actual place. Later in the prophets, we're going to read a lot about Asherah poles, which are like a heathen tribute to some god. I wonder if those are related somehow. He ruled over Mount Hermon, Salca, all of Bashan to the border of the people of Geshur and Makkah, and half of Gilead to the border of Sihon, king of Heshbon. Moses, the servant of the Lord, and the Israelites conquered them, and Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave their land to the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh to be their possession. All right, here is the list of the kings of the land that Joshua and the Israelites conquered on the west side of the Jordan. From Baal Gad in the valley of Lebanon, Mount Halak, which rises towards Seir. Joshua gave their lands as an inheritance to the tribes of Israel according to their tribal divisions. The lands included the hill country, the western foothills, the Arabah, the mountain slopes, the wilderness, and the Negev. These were the lands of the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. And these were the kings. The king of Jericho, 1. The king of Ai, near Bethel, 1. The king of Jerusalem, 1. The king of Hebron, 1. The king of Jermoth, 1. The king of Lachish, 1. The king of Eglon, 1. The king of Gezer, 1. The king of Dibur, 1. The king of Geder, 1. The king of Harmah, 1. The king of Arad, 1. The king of Libnah, the king of Aladam, the king of Makkedah, the king of Bethel, the king of Tapua, the king of Hephrah, the king of Aphek, the king of Lasharon, the king of Madon, the king of Hazar, the king of Shimron, Meron, the king of Axphath, the king of Tanakh, the king of Megiddo, the king of Kadesh, the king of Jokneamiam in Carmel, the king of Dor in Naphath Dor, the king of Goyim in Gilgal, and the king of Tirzah. And all of those are one. That's 31 kings in all. All right, chapter 13, land still to be taken. When Joshua had grown old, the Lord said to him, "You are now very old, and there are still very large areas of land to be taken over. This is the land that remains. All the regions of the Philistines, the Gerishites, Shihor River on the east of Egypt, the territory of Ekron on the north, all of it counted as Canaanite, though held by the 5 Philistine rulers in Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Gath, Goliath of Gath, right? And Ekron, the territory of Avite. In the south, all the land of the Canaanites, from Arabah and the Sidonians, as far as Ephek, and the border of the Amorites, the area of Byblos, and all Lebanon to the east, from Baal Gad, below Mount Hermon, to Lebo Hamath. As for all the inhabitants of the mountain regions from Lebanon to Maresheth Maim, that is all the Sidonians, and I myself will drive them out before the Israelites. Be sure to allocate this land to Israel for an inheritance, as I have instructed you, and divide it as an inheritance among the 9 tribes and the half tribe of Manasseh. Division of the land east of the Jordan. The half tribe of Manasseh, the Reubenites and the Gadites, had received the inheritance that Moses had given them east of the Jordan, and he, the servant of the Lord, had assigned it to them. Moses, the servant of the Lord. It extended from Aror on the rim of Arnon Gorge, and from the town in the middle of the gorge, and included the whole plateau of Medeba as far as Dibon, and all the towns of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon, out to the border of the Ammonites. It also included Gilead, the territory of the people of Geshur and Makdah. All of Mount Hermon, and all of Bashan, as far as Seklah, that is the whole kingdom of Og in Bashan, who had reigned in Ashtoreth and Edrei. He was the last of the Rephites. Moses had defeated them and taken over their land, but the Israelites did not drive out the people of Geshur and Mashkah. So they continue to live among the Israelites to this day. But to the tribe of Levi, he gave no inheritance, since the food offerings presented to the Lord, the God of Israel, are the inheritance, as he promised them. This is what Moses had given to the tribe of Reuben according to their clans: the territory from Aror on the rim of Arnon Gorge, and from the town of the middle of the gorge, and the whole plateau of Medeba, to Heshbon and all its towns on the plateau, including Disbon, Bamoth, Beth Baal Meon, and Jahaz, Kedemoth, Mephath, Gerathaim, Sibmah, Sereth, Shahar, and the hill in the valley. Beth Peor, the slopes of Pisgah, and Beth Shemioth, all the towns of the plateau, and the entire realm of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who ruled at Heshbon. Moses had defeated him in the Midian chiefs, Evi, Rechem, Zur, and Hur, and Reba, princes allied with Sihon who lived in that country. In addition to those slain in battle, the Israelites had put to the sword Balaam, son of Beor, who practiced divination. The boundary of the Reubenites was the bank of the Jordan. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the Reubenites according to their clans. This sort of just reminds me, I want to say it was Lewis, C.S. Lewis, before he was converted. But it may have been a few others. I mean, it's countless others, obviously. That the Bible just doesn't read like a fiction book. Like, what we're hearing right now is, it's clearly it's a record that is being recorded. And of course, you might have some crazy fictional writers like Tolkien or something who are willing to go to amazing extents in order to kind of flesh out the fictional reality of their novels. But those are the exceptions and not the rule. And not only that, just no ancient book to my knowledge is this detailed about just the history of their nation. This is going into vast detail, and of course we're going to see that too when we read Exodus, the second half of Exodus that goes through the synagogue and how the tabernacle was made and all of that. Or we could see it in various genealogies kind of scattered throughout the whole Old Testament or even the New Testament. It's just an amazing book. So that's the Reubenites, and this is what Moses had given to the tribe of Gad according to its clans: the territory of Jazer, all the towns of Gilead, and the half Ammonite country as far as Aroer, near Reba, and from Heshbon to Ramoth Mizpah, Betonim, and from Mahanaim to the territory of Debir, and in the valley Beth Haramin, Beth Nimrah, Sukkoth, and Zaphon, from the rest of the realm of Sihon, the king of Heshbon, the east side of the Jordan, the territory up to the end of the Sea of Galilee. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the Gadites according to their clans. This is what Moses had given to the half tribe of Manasseh, that is, to the half family of the descendants of Manasseh according to its clans. The territory extended from Mahanaim, and including all of Bashan, the entire realm of Og, king of Bashan, all the settlements of Jair in Bashan, 60 towns, half of Gilead and Ashtra and Edrei, the royal cities of Og in Bashan. This was for the descendants of Machir, the son of Manasseh, for the half of the sons of Machir according to their clans. Wow, there's just so much more to these ancient civilizations than we understand. Certainly more than I understand. This is the inheritance Moses had given when he was in the plains of Moab across the Jordan east of Jericho. But to the tribe of Levi, Moses had given no inheritance. Once again, the Lord, the God of Israel, is their inheritance as he promised them. This one's kind of a short one, so we'll just truck through this. Chapter 14, division of the land west of the Jordan. Now there are the areas of the Israelites received as an inheritance in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the heads of the tribal clans of Israel allotted to them. Their inheritance, where were assigned by lot to the 9, and a half tribes as the Lord had commanded through Moses. Moses had granted the 2 and a half tribes their inheritance east of the Jordan, but had not granted the Levites an inheritance among the rest, like we already said. For Joseph's descendants had become 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. The Levites received no share of the land, but only towns to live in, with pasture lands for their flocks and herds. So the Israelites divided the land just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Interesting that the Levites have pasture lands, or they have flocks and herds. Did they contract shepherds from other tribes? Or how did that work? Was it just the youngsters who were shepherds? I don't know. Now, the allotment for Caleb. Now the people of Judah approached Joshua of Gilgal, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, and they said to him, "You know what the Lord said to Moses, the man of God, at Kadesh Barnea about you and me. I was 40 years old when Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to explore the land, and I brought him back a report according to my convictions. But my fellow Israelites who went up with me made the hearts of the people melt in fear." What a legendary guy Caleb is. "I, however, followed the Lord my God wholeheartedly. So on that day Moses swore to me, the land in which you set your feet and you have walked in will be your inheritance, and that of your children forever, because you have followed the Lord your God, Lord my God, wholeheartedly. Now then, just as the Lord promised, he has kept me alive for 45 years since the time he said this to Moses while Israel moved about in the wilderness." So he's 95 now, to do the math. "So here I am today, 85 years old. I guess that's right, 85 years old. I am still as strong today as the day Moses sent me out." I love to see that. How true was that? It'd be great to get a picture of Caleb at 40 and Caleb at 85. Let's see. "I am still as strong as the day Moses sent me out. I'm just as vigorous to go out to battle now as I was then. Now give me this hill country that the Lord promised me that day. You yourself heard that the Anakites were there, and their cities were large and fortified, but the Lord helped me. I will drive them out just as he said." Then Joshua blessed Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and gave him Hebron as his inheritance. You think that Joshua and Caleb must have been pretty close to the same age. So Hebron has belonged to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, ever since, because he followed the Lord, the God of Israel, wholeheartedly. Hebron used to be Kiriath Arba, after Arba, who is the greatest man among the Anakites. Then the land had rest from war. All right, that is going to be all for today. Caleb, what a man. What a man. Lord, thank you for Caleb. Thank you for the vast detail and care that you put into recording these things. So much detail, Lord. I don't know what else to say other than kind of just to worship you in this moment for giving us such a book packed with rich details that we didn't even ask for. And once again, I just thank you for anybody listening to this, that you would just fill their heart with your love, your confidence, your assurance, and your presence. Thank you. Thank you. We pray all these things in your name. See you guys on the next one.